I now call to order the September 24th, 2024 Board of Trustees meeting, time being 6:30 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, may I get a roll call, please?
Trustee Cannon,
Here.
Trustee Daly, Trustee Moyer,
Here.
Trustee Teets,
Here.
Trustee Wiegand,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Mason,
Here.
Mayor Shosse.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Any amendments to the agenda this evening? Any conflicts of interest with the agenda this evening? No. All right, now it's time for public comment. Members of the public wishing to speak will be given 3 minutes. Please state your name for the record and sign in behind the podium.
My name is Stephen Carmen. I know we know each other. I have no questions tonight, so you'll be pleased. Trust is an interesting phenomena. I had a friend, Richard, tell me that trust is something you give to another more than it is something that another earns. And trust is not something anyone can demand from us or take from us. When you think about what I and all those in the town of Wellington have done, we have entrusted, or more accurately, we have entrusted the position of trustee that you hold at this moment. To entrust is to give, much in the same way that to encourage is to give courage. We have entrusted the town of Wellington trustees to advocate for us, to protect us, to promote us, and to ultimately serve this community. We've entrusted the seat you hold to build on the positive work that was done before you, and if necessary, to correct the harms done to us by others. We entrust you to continue the hard work of creating a thriving community for the future long after you vacate these seats. We all want a community that the media reports on because of the good that the residents are doing and experiencing, not a community where the residents are harmed by decisions of this body. If trust was a coin, you don't mind helping me out? If trust was a coin, the other side of the coin would be respect. While we control whom we trust, you control whether we respect you by the way that you interact with us and the way that you make and arrive at decisions on behalf of the community. When this happens transparently, when this happens in an unbiased way, and with intellectual curiosity that balances short and long-term impact, our respect for you grows. Too often, intellectual curiosity dies at the feet of overconfident certainty and a refusal to hear what is sometimes characterized as grievances. When this happens, mortal wounds are inflicted on problem solving, innovation, and organizational trust, and community trust. Humility and discernment are the antidote. I want to encourage you as trusted leaders, and I want to encourage the residents of the town of Wellington to continue to work together to create a thriving community that we can all be proud to be a part of. Everybody get a coin? Did you get extras?
Thank you. All right, now we will have the introduction of Todd Germain, the new fire chief for the Wellington Fire Protection District. Is Chief Germain.
Good evening, trustees. Patty didn't tell me I had to speak tonight, really, so
Oh,
completely unprepared.
Here.
Completely unprepared. I thought she was just going to introduce me and
And you were gonna walk out?
we're going to walk out. Yes.
How this works?
Good evening. I'm sorry it's taken this long to come and meet you folks formally. I come to you from New Hampshire, where I spent 30 years in the fire service, and I actually retired once as a fire chief. Did some traveling around the world a little bit. I get back, and my wife pretty much told me we got to find something for you to do. So we've always liked this part of the country. We visit out here a lot in Colorado, so we're familiar with it. The opportunity came up here in Wellington looking for a fire chief, so I put my name in, and fortunate to get the job. So, I still am in the process of sort of gathering the pieces that were left behind and doing my best to put them all back together and put them in an order of priority. And I meet with Patty. We have a standing meeting every month, so I'm going to try to really build the connection between our district and the town, and for that matter, with the sheriff's office as well. And I think we're off to a good start with that. So where I come from, we're all under one house. So that's the system I'm used to working in, and I think it's a pretty effective system. So I'm gonna do my best to try to formulate and facilitate that sort of a system here as well. So even though there are lines that are invisible, and that we work together, collaboratively for, what we're all here to do, and that's serve the people of Wellington, and for me, for my district as well. So I promise you that I will work hard every day to do just that, to protect the health and well-being of our citizens here in Wellington and throughout our district. And should have my phone number or a way to get a hold of me. If you ever need to get in touch, please do. Or again, I meet with Patty monthly. So that's pretty much me. So unless there's anything else you'd like me to touch on.
No, that's about it. So we do have monthly meetings. We include Matt Cherry in our meetings as well. So the three of us get together and talk about things related to safety and enforcement in the town of Wellington.
Awesome. Thank you, Chief Germain.
You're welcome. And the door's open over there anytime any of you want to stop in and have a coffee or just chat. I'm welcome. I'd love to do that. I'd love to. As much as I can absorb about the town and the history of it, and what goes on here, the more effective I can be. So please stop in, reach out, and we'll have a coffee or something. Okay.
Awesome.
All right.
Appreciate it. Thank you
All
for your
right.
service.
Have a good night. Have a good meeting.
Thank you. All right, next up, we will have a presentation on the 2024 second quarter budget review by Mr. Nick Redavid.
Good evening. Let me share my screen.
Perfect.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Board. I'm Nick Redavid, Finance Director and Treasurer for the Town of Wellington. In your board packet tonight is the 2024 second quarter Treasurer's Report, and I'd like to review some of the key points regarding the performance of the town's financials in comparison to the approved 2024 budget. This review does focus on the operating revenues and expenses, which does not include loan proceeds, capital projects, grants, or transfers. So it's about the operations of the town. Sorry. Here we go. As you know, I started just shy of 5 months ago with the town, and in that time, we've had 100% turnover in all positions within the finance department. While the reduced staffing, onboarding, hiring has slowed down some of the department operations, I am excited to share tonight that we will be back to full staff for the first time in almost 3 months next week. So just wanted to give an update on that department. So we did hire Patty Lundy as our controller. Patty has been with the town since February of 2007. She has previous experience within the town's finance department, is detail-oriented, has an associate's degree in accounting, is very experienced with Cassell, and has been involved in budgeting and audit process before. Starting next week, we'll have our finance clerk, Samantha Jack. Samantha comes to us with a degree in accounting and most recently was an accounting supervisor. Also with our department is Flip Barker, our utility services coordinator, who started a week after I did back in May. Dawn is still on retainer with us. Don Rhodes, our CPA from Baker Tilly, is still on retainer with us. He's no longer full-time as of June, but he is still assisting with audits and one-offs as needed. He has taken on additional work, so he's not as readily available, but he has been an asset for us. A quick audit update. Dawn and I did meet with our auditors, Hinkle and Company, in the past couple of weeks, and we're continuing to provide required documentation. In fact, they sent a batch in earlier today. Our auditor with Hinkle was changed at the beginning of July, and we hope to have more information in coming weeks, including a site visit. So hoping to have the auditor on site. Additionally, my onboarding has taken me out of the office twice for a significant amount of time. I did spend a week with Cassell in July, and I spent a week in August attending and successfully completing Government Finance Officers Accounting Academy. This was an intense 4-day course on governmental and enterprise fund accounting and reporting. I'm grateful for the opportunity to attend, and I'm excited to implement the teachings as we build the newest version of the finance department for the town. Lastly, since the August 20th special meeting, I have personally underwritten and approved, and actually this number changed at 4:59 today, 50 of our hardship utility grants with an average of $400.14. So 50 at 414 or more for Wellington, average of 400 for Wellington utility residents and customers. Year to date, that puts us over $23,000 in grants, and there is right around 8,200 remaining in the budget after the reallocation that you made. So going into the actual treasurer's report, I have broken it down by the funds. So we'll take a look at the general fund. As you'll see, the column on the right, the year-to-date actual to budget. Since this is through second quarter, we do want that number to be as close to 50% as possible. And our revenues in the general fund are down significantly, and that is because of the 2022 audit. So the Larimer County Treasurer is holding over $2 million for us. That was property tax revenue from the first half of the year. I do also want to point out, though, that expenditures in each of the departments is near or below the year-to-date projections. Just a note on legislative is it does include community events, so that's why 4th of July being paid in advance, you do see that one a little elevated, as well as the finance department professional services includes our consultant, which, like I said, that mostly wrapped up in June. In our street, park, and drainage funds, this, just to point out that this does include impact fees in all three of those funds, so that is included in the revenue. However, like I said, it does not include grants, so the budgeted grant in the street fund and in the drainage fund for capital expenses has not been included. The street fund sales tax revenue is down approximately 6%, but we do typically see this tick up later in the year with the holiday spending. The drainage fund does show 100% expenses, and that is because the largest budgeted expense is the box elder payment, which was made in April. In the water and sewer funds, again, we did not include the scheduled transfers. Those transfers were budgeted based on the operating revenue. They have not yet been transferred. They, in 2023, were transferred in the December period. So that is the anticipated for this year. These amounts may be updated based on lower modeled revenue projections, which we'll hear from more about later tonight. Capital project loan proceeds and non-operating revenue, again, were removed from these. The water fund did have its annual, did not have the annual expenditure of nearly 3 million for North Pluto Irrigation Company, as of Q2, so that is not reflected in here. The debt service payments have been updated, through year to date. And sewer revenue is trending, approximately $30,000 a month below budget or below projections, due to reduced winter quarter average water consumption, which was used to calculate rates effective in April. So water usage was down in January, February, and March, resulting in lower sewer rates for utility customers. Year to date, when you look at our revenue and our expenses, the net revenue over expenses in the general fund is shy. We do, like I said, we do know that there's 2 million with the county. Street fund is positive, park fund is positive, and then our enterprise funds are a little shy on drainage and sewer, but water is exceeding. So overall, our operating budget performance, we do show a net revenue of approximately 760,000. And that is the presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Trustee Teets?
I don't have any questions at this time.
Trustee Keenan?
Thank you, Mr. Redavid, for that report. Question for you with, you said we changed auditors. We had another auditor that was going to do the 2022 and 2023. So
Correct.
they're just now getting on board. Is that correct?
So we did change firms earlier from the 22 audit to the from the 21 to the 22 audit.
Right.
The auditor within the firm, we did start working with a new auditor within the firm in July.
Okay. The question I have is about the timing of the 2023 audit and when that will be complete as opposed to when Larimer County will release those $2 million worth of funds that they're holding for.
Right.
Because, you know, this next quarter, they're going to be holding more funds.
Yes.
And we want to make sure that there's sufficient revenues to cover should the audit exceed until next year.
Absolutely. The 2022 audit is what's holding up the funds currently. And I have been meeting with that new auditor regularly. Again, like I said, submitted a batch of documents today. We do anticipate that being done by the end of the year, hopefully having them on site for a site visit, as well as potentially even meeting the board. So I hope to have a concrete date on that in the next coming weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Moore?
Yes. So thank you. Welcome to the new employees. And I just want to give a shout out to Patty for her many years of service to the town. I'm very excited and I want to congratulate her on this new position that I know she's very, very excited about. Audits are not an easy thing. And so switching to a new representative halfway through or a third of the way through is difficult. And I just want to say thank you for staying the course and making sure that we have the best possible results. So thank you, Nick, for your leadership.
Thank you. Trustee Wiegand?
I want to thank you for what you're doing, and I know the auditing is tough where you're the position you're in right now, and I'm glad that you got a finger on it, and so does Ms. Garcia too. So we appreciate that. And quick question, the impact fees, you say we're down quite a bit on that?
Not necessarily impact. I was just saying that they were included in those revenues. So when you look at the that total revenue, it does include the impact fees. Impact fees are down. They are down this year just due to fewer development.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Daly?
No questions. Thank you for the presentation.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Well, thank you for the presentation, Nick. Certainly, I share the same concerns that some of my fellow trustees, Trustee Moyer and Trustee Cannon, I guess I was just going to ask, I'm sure it's been communicated to the audit firm that we are under the gun as far as revenues to come back to the town, and
Correct.
you just want to ensure that they understand that.
I provided them today with the letter we recently received, so they are aware, and they have the letter from last year as well.
Great, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for putting this together, and it's super exciting that you're fully staffed now. And yeah, congratulations to Patty for being able to do a transfer into that department and do something that she wants to do. Yeah, I mean, it's hard work and you've been busting your butt, and we'll get it back this year. And they know that, so I trust you, and I trust you guys are doing everything you can, you and Patty and staff, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Will the clerk please read the title for the items in the consent agenda?
Resolution number 47-2024, a resolution approving the Town of Wellington Community Grant Application and September 10th, 2024 regular meeting minutes.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion to approve the minutes for, sorry, give me one sec. To approve the consent agenda for resolution number 47-2024 and the September 10th, 2024 regular meeting minutes.
Second.
You. Clerk, make it a roll call, please.
Trustee Cannon,
Yes.
Haley,
Yes.
Trustee Moyer,
Yes.
Trustee Teets,
Yes.
Trustee Wiegand,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Mason,
Yes.
Mayor Shosse.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. All right, clerk, will you please read the title for item E1?
Resolution number 49-2024, a resolution of the Town of Wellington, Colorado, amending the Town of Wellington fee schedule effective January 1, 2025.
Thank you. And then Nick Redavid, the finance director, will present on this item.
All right, no presentation for this. But good evening, Mr. Mayor and Board. I'm Nick Redavid, Finance Director and Treasurer for the Town of Wellington. Tonight is the adoption or consideration of adoption of Resolution 49-2024 to amend the Town of Wellington fee schedule effective January 1st, 2025. As we discussed a couple weeks ago, having the fee schedule in place helps us ensure that we recover the ensure costs are recovered for services provided, and also helps us forecast revenues. We had some great feedback a couple of weeks ago, so there have been some changes since that initial fee schedule was presented. I did highlight that in my memo, including that a 20% discount for veterans on grave space was included in cemetery fees. We also defined resident as current or historical, and then I think those were pieces that were direct feedback from the board. Since that presentation, we also added a notary fee that I think I shared at that meeting, $5 per document. And then there was also an engineering review fee added for a floodplain development permit. So those were the only changes between what was presented 2 weeks ago. The rest of the changes that were presented at that time are highlighted in the packet, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Trustee Teets?
I did have one additional question that came up from our previous meeting to this one. On page 67, there is in code section, it says Board of Adjustment / appeals. And it says that there's a charge of $500 plus legal expenses incurred. Can we verify the legality of that charge related to if we are actually allowed to charge that to someone who appeals a Board of Adjustment decision?
I'll invite Director Byrd up to assist with that.
Sorry, I would have sent it before, so I apologize, Cody.
That's okay. And I had my head down on some other notes. Can you repeat the question for me, please? I didn't hear all of it.
So can we legally charge, if we have someone that files an appeal on a Board of Adjustments decision, can we actually charge the $500 plus legal expenses?
I think I understand your question. Can I offer some clarification?
Mhm.
The $500 charge is for a Board of Adjustments or an appeal. So it's for the Board of Adjustments to have a meeting to conduct business. That's a land use application. Appeals going to the Board of Adjustment could include an appeal of an administrative decision or an appeal of like the building official's decision on construction materials. Those are the appeals that go to the Board of Adjustments. That $500 is covering staff operating costs to conduct those meetings, to keep the lights on, things of that nature, public hearing advertisements and such. If there's an appeal of the Board of Adjustments decision, that goes to district court. That's not a town fee, it's not a town process. Does that get to the point of the question?
That does clarify my question. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Moore?
No questions. I just want to thank Trustee Teets again for bringing up the discount for veterans in the cemetery. And thank you for making all the adjustments that we asked for. That's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Cannon?
No questions. Thank you.
Trustee Wiegand?
No questions. I guess I got one quick question. Using the new fee schedule with the same volume that we had last year, what would that increase our revenue by? Do you have any idea?
I don't have that, but I could get that and
Okay,
I can get that out to you.
okay, thank you. One more.
Trustee Daly?
No questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll now open this up for public comment. Members of the public wishing to comment on this item will be given 3 minutes. Please state your name at the podium for the record. Going once, going twice, sold. All right. Any further questions from the board before? All right. Do I hear a motion?
I
move
moved
to-
to, I'm sorry, go ahead, please. You started first. Go ahead.
I move to approve resolution number 49-2024, a resolution of the town of Wellington, Colorado, amending the town of Wellington fee schedule effective January 1st, 2025.
I second.
Clerk, may I get a roll call, please?
Trustee Cannon?
Yes.
Trustee Daly?
Yes.
Trustee Moyer? Trustee Teets?
Yes.
Trustee Wiegand?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Mason?
Yes.
Mayor Shosse?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Clerk, will you please read the title for item E2?
Resolution number 50-2024, a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Wellington, Colorado, authorizing and directing an application to the U.S. Department of Transportation for grant funding for the Reconnecting Communities Pilot Grant Program.
Perfect, thank you. And this will be presented by Ms. Cody Hodeling, our Deputy Town Administrator. Ms. Hodeling.
Thank you, Mayor and Trustees. Kelly Hodeling, Deputy Town Administrator. Before you tonight is a resolution authorizing staff to apply for the Reconnecting Communities Grant, the United States Department of Transportation. This will be specifically for the interchange at I-25 and State Highway 1, or Cleveland Avenue, if you will. It's no secret that this is a project that is severely needed for our community. Anytime you're traveling, trying to come home or go to work, there's stacking on the highway. We have documentation in the grant of children crossing I-25, trying to get somewhere likely to school. This is a significant burden for our community, not only residents, our businesses, and our visitors, and we would like this to be addressed. And so the way that we need to do that is to speed up the process with CDOT and seek grant funding for the design to ensure that it would be a shovel-ready project. We're seeking $2 million through this grant funding, and that would require a 20% match, which is $400,000. Staff has also included this money in the 2025 CIP plan, and so we have booked that money right now at the time if we are successful with this grant application. We feel very strongly that this is a grant that has a really good shot, and we know that it will take some local money to be able to work on the design of I-25. And the project itself for the interchange is likely over $40 million. And so that doesn't fund the entire design, obviously, because that would be around 12 to 18%. So maybe around 6 million for that entire design, but this does get on CDOT's radar to move us up in that project list. I did want to recognize some of our partners who have already provided us a letter of support, and I think this speaks to the volume of the impact that this project has and the level of support that this has, not only locally, but in the region and the state of Colorado. So we have letters of support from CDOT Region 4, CDPHE, Safe Routes to School Wellington, Hooters School District, Wellington Fire Protection, Upper Front Range TPR, State Senator's Office Marchman, U.S. Senator Hickenlooper, and then we anticipate letters coming hopefully today or tomorrow from Lamar County and Wellington Main Street. Are there any questions?
Trustee Moyer.
I have no questions. I'm just excited to see this come before us. Investing $400,000 as a match is nothing to access 2 million, especially when it will open us up as a shovel-ready project, which most funders want to see for many millions more. Also, I want to just put out there into consideration, or for the public to know, that some of that match usually can be in-kind contributions. So it doesn't necessarily mean 400,000 coming out of our pockets. I don't know that this is that way for this grant, but usually sometimes that's how it works. This was one of our top priorities that we identified as safe routes to school, at the very top, actually, of our list. It is a very dangerous situation, I'm sorry, for pedestrians and children alike. There aren't a lot of great options, and so this is going to present a really amazing opportunity for our community. So thank you.
Ms. Holding, could you touch on, would in-kind contributions work for this grant?
We'd need to provide the match of $400,000.
Okay,
Yeah, the cash match, the money.
okay, thank you. Trustee Teets?
I'm extremely excited about this. It's been an ask to figure out and how we can move up that 20-year list. Because in reality, if we don't start moving forward, proving that we are interested and serious in this, we will stay at 20 years out for that interchange fix. We sit through monthly meetings with the I-25 Coalition, and we get to see stakeholders and community members and people that are representing all of I-25 corridor from here all the way down past Denver. And to sit there and have that kind of support and have all of these people that represent the entire state step up and say, if we need anything, letters of recommendation, it's huge. And it's been a constant talking point that we've had every meeting we have with the I-25 Coalition is the safety of that crossing and watching people run. And I mean, it's not just kids, so we can't plaster it on just the kids side, because I've almost hit an adult crossing the road trying to get to work at Ridley's. So it's definitely one of those things. And yes, there is an underpass. Sometimes during the spring, it's flooded and you can't access it anyways. So I think this is huge. And to get a $2 million grant and provide 400K towards that, at the end of the day, if you were to walk up and ask any of our community what we need the most right now, I am going to tell you that that's all people do talk to me about. Well, water. But this will mean increased access, increased sales revenue that we don't see right now because of the complications of accessing the downtown area. So I am very excited, and I am super proud of you guys for finding an opportunity to put us up that list.
Thank you. Trustee Wiegand?
I appreciate you doing this. 400,000 is a lot of money, but when you start looking at the lives that are at effect here, I mean, I come home every night from Fort Collins, and sooner or later somebody's going to get killed over there. And 400,000 small price to pay. And then also too, if you take in consideration what this will open up to our business community and for businesses coming into this community, it's a win-win operation. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Cannon?
Thank you, Ms. Hoagland. Good work on this. I like the fact that you have so many letters of recommendation. Senator Hickenlooper. His letter will probably carry a lot of weight. So thank you for what you're doing. It is a problem that the town has been looking at for years. The little patchwork that's been done at that interchange, and most recently the addition of the additional lights has made it somewhat safer, but we've still got traffic backing up on the interstate. You know, 5 o'clock in the evening, and they're on the shoulder as people are whizzing by at 80 miles per hour. It's very dangerous. I've also seen people running across the interstate, kids, people who work at Ridley's, because they're wearing the Ridley's outfit. I mean, you can tell. I've seen people on bicycles trying to cross that, and in with all that heavy traffic. I was almost late to this meeting today because trying to turn off the east frontage road to go over the bridge, I had to wait through 2 light signals, and I was the 3rd car in line. So it's something that's desperately needed, and I look forward to a successful grant application. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Daly?
I don't have any specific questions, but I do know that if this grant were to be successful, combined with safety study that CDOT has underway, we definitely would have a significant motivation and backing in order to seek federal funding. So I'll leave my other comments for deliberation, but no questions. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Ms. Holding, really appreciate the work on this. And only question I've got, just as far as grant timeline and what you're looking at as far as potential possible approval of that.
I don't know that off the top of my head, but I can certainly let the board know when they would, when we would find out if we got the grant or not.
Sure, no worries. I appreciate that. Congratulations on all the letters of recommendation that you've received. And I just want to, I certainly want to thank staff and the prior board and this current board, and especially when it comes to our budget and capital improvement projects. I think this is one of those things that really shows that, and certainly amongst other things, that the town of Wellington is no longer interested in kicking the can down the road, so to speak. There's a lot of things we need to get done, and I think this really shows that we're committed to doing that. So I really appreciate you getting out there after this grant, and look forward to hopefully getting that back to us. So.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for bringing this before us and all that you've done. It's super important for us to set ourselves up for success, to invest in our own community. And when people see that we're investing, they'll want to invest as well. This bridge is a major issue, has been for quite a long time. And so for this to get us on the map with CDOT and them to see that we have skin in the game is going to speak volumes and help move that timeline up. So I appreciate all the hard work that's gone into that. Any comments from the public on this item? Those wishing to speak will be given 3 minutes. State your name for the record. I've already talked 3 minutes.
Rick Freeman, 7425 Viewpoint Drive in Wellington, Colorado. I just have a question. I have seen it for 20 years. I've waited for this since I moved here, but I'm not sure what all is included in this proposal if it should pass and everything. Can somebody give me a thumbnail sketch of what we're talking? Shovel ready and everything, but are we plans ready and what, I just haven't seen anything. Maybe I've been remiss. That'd be great.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Thank you. I guess the end of public comment. We can get Kelly back up here. Ms. Hodling, can you answer?
Sure. So with this initial study, so this will be funding the preferred interchange configuration, creating the design for that, excuse me, identifying any environmental impact changes that need to be evaluated, and evaluate the best possible location for pedestrian crossings near or around that intersection. So it's not at the complete design at all, but it does get us going on the preferred options. And then the true design will take a very long time and a lot more money to do that. But we're hoping our partners at CDOT can assist with those next phases. But this does move us up on the map. to get going on the next phases of it. So it's, by all means, it is not the complete design, and everything that's needed for construction documents.
Thank you. Any further comments from the board on this item? Trustee Teets.
And kind of to stem off the design study and safety options is, we definitely, I want to verify that we will have multiple stakeholder investment and opportunity to provide feedback for this kind of stuff as design moves down the road, correct?
You know, I'm not sure what that would look like, but certainly there would be an opportunity for public engagement on something so high level, not only at local, but state, I would gather as well. So we're just so early on, and just kind of that initial ask phase that that would get worked out. As if we're assuming we're successful, then all those details would come along as well.
Got it. That was my only question.
Thank you. Trustee Moore.
Thank you for the clarification on the in-kind contributions. I have no questions. Thank you, Kelly, for your work on this.
Thank you. Trustee Cannon.
Thank you again for the clarification. The way CDOT plans these projects is we have transportation regions, we have metropolitan planning organizations, and these are organizations that are set up across the state that where regions list their priorities for CDOT projects. This interchange is on the TPR project list, but it's down low. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to elevate that this project higher on that list so that when funds come available at CDOT and when they start doing their planning for the next 20-year plans, or even maybe can squeeze it into within the next several years, having this kind of study and this kind of preliminary work in place gives us a leg up over maybe other communities that just have a wish list. At least we're investing and we're putting resources and funds into the project to better position Wellington to take advantage of opportunities that may come up so that we can get this interchange completed faster. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Wiegand.
No questions? Thank you.
Trustee Daly.
The whole goal of this process is very remiss of the County Road 9 and Highway 1 project, in which Wellington funded a design project to look at preliminary possibilities for that intersection, really more so to call attention to it to all the involved partners, which as a result of that, CDOT ended up bringing millions of dollars to the project and owning the project. So we've seen other experiences like this in the past, where it's so long as we're initiating the needs and concerns of a project, when we bring all the pieces together so other people can participate. I feel like this is a similar step in what we're attempting to do in this one. When you said, when we invest in our own community, then other people will too, I think that's absolutely true, and that is the case. The other parts of this, and from the discussions I've had with county staff, state that, maybe we're number 30 on the list, right? But if we're number 30, we already have a plan and we have funding, then all of a sudden number 30 is next up because we're ready to go. So they were very encouraging when we talked to the county during one of Kefalis's community conversations. He brought staff in to talk about some of the suggestions and possibilities and what they know of CDOT. And that was the recommendation, really, is to continue with the safety study from the CDOT perspective, and then put everything else in place that potentially makes us eligible, at least, to look at other funding options. And I don't see how we can get there any quicker than moving on this immediately. So just based on the input I've got from, our resources and encouragement from the county, and their experience with CDOT, I think this is the best and quickest possible way for us to seek additional funding and to move up the list. So I would encourage that we pass this absolutely 100%.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem. Perfect. All right. I don't have anything further to say, so thank you very much. Do I hear a motion on this item?
I make a motion to approve the resolution 2024, a resolution to Board of Trustees in Town of Wellington, Colorado, authorizing and directing an application to the U.S. Department of Transportation for grant funding for the Reconnecting Communities Pilot Program.
I second.
Clerk, may I get a roll call, please?
Trustee Cannon,
Yes.
trustee Daly,
Yes.
trustee Claire,
Yes.
trustee Teets,
Yes.
trustee Wiegand.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Mason,
Yes.
Mayor Shosse,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, on to reports. Dan Sapienza, do you have any reports this evening? No. No, he's on vacation.
I could make something up.
No, you're good.
wait.
Ms. Garcia, do you have anything to report?
I don't have anything to report tonight. Thank you.
Perfect. Board reports, trustee Moore.
I just want to share, a few of us attended the CML District 12 meeting last week, and not only did we learn a lot about our fellow communities, surrounding municipalities, but our town administrator, Ms. Patty Garcia, did a fantastic job providing our updates. She commanded the room. She made people laugh. It was like watching a show, and it was fantastic. So I just want to give her a big shout out for how wonderfully she represents our community, and just the great work that she does and always showing up. So thank you, Patty.
Perfect. Thank you. Trustee Wiegand.
No report.
Thank you. Trustee Daly.
Actually, last night in this room, I was fortunate enough to host a Brownie Girl Scout troop. I sat here in my spot at the dais and explained kind of a little bit about what we do from the Board of Trustees, and it was really special and wonderful. And the reason why I wanted to share that with you is because it was so encouraging to hear children, the future leaders and girl bosses of Wellington and beyond, how to be involved, what to do, how it works. And they were incredibly wonderful. And I appreciate them inviting me as their guest speaker. So that happened right here, little girls sitting in front of me. So as a visual of how that went. So it was really special. So I thank you to that Girl Scout troop. Additionally, PROS does meet monthly. And they always welcome the public. A lot of people maybe think that that isn't a group that's open for public comment and open for the public, and it absolutely is. And they just want to encourage people to come and share what they need and want in the community, what they care about, what they're concerned about. So PROST is Parks, Recreation, Open Space, and Trails. So they want you to come to their meetings. So please do. Even if you don't have any input necessarily, just come and see what's going on and learn more about what volunteer advisory committees are doing for our town. The Main Street group probably updates at some point, but we are moving forward with our work session for a work plan for 2025, which involves 2 members of the Main Street Board and 2 members of our board to work in conjunction to make sure we're both on track and aligned. And I'm very excited to work with our colleagues and our very wonderful strategic partners. And I think, Friday night, where should you be? Canvas Stadium is where you should be to watch the Box Elder Cup championship game. I don't know if it's considered there's a trophy. It's a championship. To watch our football team play against Timnath, our #1 rivals. The big game is at Canvas Stadium, which is super special. So that's Friday at 4:30. Tickets for adults are $15. Every PSD student or staff is free. It's going to be very special. So I hope we can come and represent and beat Timnath, of course, and maintain our Sugar Beet trophy. There's the name. It's a box, I don't know, all the things. Cup. Thank you. It is a trophy cup. Yes, but either way, be there and be ready to cheer. So I love our town, and this is a great way to celebrate it. Thanks.
Trustee Teets.
I think it is a beet that actually gets handed out as the trophy.
Once you lose, then it's a potato.
Yes, we're not losing them.
Correct.
So, as trustee had mentioned that we are doing and working on the Main Street stakeholder meeting. That is October 3rd. I would like and hope that if there's anything specific towards a plan and cooperation from the rest of our trustees on generalized ideas, what you guys are looking for as far as we move forward with the understanding or MOU, please reach out beforehand so we have a generalized idea and we're representing all of the voices here in conjunction with Main Street's program to figure out what that's going to look like moving forward and how we can best serve them. So that is pretty much my whole board report. I do apologize for missing CML. I was a bit sad about that, spending the last week sick as I did. It was something I was actually looking forward to going to because I hear they are really fun meetings. So I do apologize, but I'm grateful that so many people from the board and the town went and showed up and represented. So thank you. Yes, I saw.
Thank you. Trustee Ken?
Thank you. CML will be starting up their policy committee again in next month in October that I'll be attending and trying to keep the town advised of the policy agenda that's present in Denver and maybe some of the issues that we need to be more aware of. Sorry I won't be able to make the football game. It sounds like an exciting game, but I'm going to be in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, getting ready for the Alabama-Georgia game. So I think that's it. Roll Tide.
Oh. Mayor Pro Tem, on a brighter note.
Well, let's see. I've got the Larimer County Opioid Abatement Council on Thursday this week, so I hope to get the board an update on that next week. But other than that, I did want to thank staff and members of our leadership team, as well as Trustee Teets, for participating in town clerk interviews today. We had a packed day and some fabulous applicants, so we're getting real close to making a decision on that. And so just want to thank everybody for participating in that. So.
Perfect. I don't have any board reports other than I like working with you guys, each and every one of you. Town staff, you guys are awesome. What? Oh, yes, that I was looking for my note and I couldn't find it and I was like, there we go. Thank you, Patty, for keeping me in line. Boards and commissions. If you guys would like to entertain the idea of how we do that interview process and readdress that, that's something that has been brought forward to me by Trustee Cannon, and I'm in agreement with him on looking at that to make it so it's not as cumbersome for candidates or daunting to be interviewed by everybody. If that's something you guys are cool with, and that we can bring it back at a future time.
I absolutely agree.
please.
Yes.
Okay.
I like when most of us attend. I like being able to give the feedback, but I also like to get to see who's being interviewed because when I bump into them in the community, then we know. When we just pass it on consent agenda here, you could be sitting next to someone in the next booth over at a restaurant and not even know that they've been appointed to a board. So I don't know. I like how we do it now, and not all of us end up showing up. It always seems to be kind of a mix of who is available at that time. And I think that I don't think any of us, all of us have not been at a single one. We always seem to alternate on who does go, and it's just who's available. I actually like the process that we do now with it. So I don't know if it's daunting per se, but I like making sure that we're all present in them if we haven't a chance to, because then the interviewees get to meet all of us as well, whomever shows up.
Thank you.
A piece of feedback I wanted to provide to it too, that I've received from my advisory boards, is that they would like to, as a board or the chair of that board, would like to be more actively involved in the interview process as well, and not necessarily can questions, but the opportunity to ask more board-related specific questions that are pertinent and maybe just to the situation and time in the current board of questions that they might have. So that's the feedback I've gotten, that the chairs would like to be really involved in it. And then they've also asked that their liaison also be involved. So from the feedback I've received from my advisory boards, that was the direction they were hoping to go.
Yeah, historically, I mean, the boards of commissions used to do their own interviews and then, the liaison from the board would bring it to the board. But anyways, I think bring forward for discussion. I think we have board agreements on that, majority at least.
It'll be a work session probably after the first of the year,
Perfect.
based on calendars.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll take a 5-minute recess before our work session. You're right. You know what? I should. I now adjourn the regular meeting Board of Trustees, time being 7:25 PM.